Hello everyone, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, much like Dorothy said in the movie The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. And for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, there is no place like home. Undefeated at Lewis Field in 1996, the Cowboys return home for their final 3 games of the season. First up, the Aggies from Texas A&M. And with us each week, of course, the head coach of Oklahoma State Cowboy football, Bob Simmons. And coach, our quarterback came through again, Tony Jones, another career day for the senior QB.
Yeah, Paul, Tony has really responded quite well in these last couple of weeks. The Iowa State game, he had a sensational game with a time-consuming drive, and Missouri really was a challenge with 8 and 9 men in the box, and so we really asked him to be more involved in our passing game and make good decisions, and he's been able to do that quite well.
Well, no doubt Missouri was intent in stopping the run, but the offense did a great job of making adjustments and moving the football.
I thought the offense had an excellent game plan, especially for man coverage, running picks inside and outside. I really thought our backs ran well considering the condition of the field. We had a tendency to slip more often than one, but overall I thought the complete offense, our receivers stepped up, made great catches, and naturally Alonzo Mays had one of his better days.
Well, Coach, we'll be back to take a look at Alonzo and some of the other highlights after this timeout. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, it was a big Big 12 battle in Columbia, Missouri against the Missouri Tigers. And Coach, on the road, the final road game of the year, what was your strategy going into this football game?
Well, we wanted to get our offense on the field first. Offense have had a lot of success, and we came out, won the toss, and really had success moving the ball right down the field. You see we came out here with a pass to Alonzo. Mainly because of what they were doing. And then they gave us a formation that we allowed to run the quarterback draw. And Tony probably gained, I think, about 50, 60 yards on that, where we got our fullback to go up and chop their linebackers. Now it's just a foot race. And see that blazing speed that he has trying to get to the sideline. But that was a real good play for us. And we really come out and have success moving the ball. We get to about the 45, 50-yard line, then our offense stalls, and then we have to kick the ball away.
Well, here a little 3-step out pattern to Terrence Richardson. Tony Jones really was on just a career day, 14 of 24 throwing the football for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's the first time a single individual for Oklahoma State has thrown 4 touchdowns in a ball game. Here we are going to Alonzo again.
Yeah, I tell you, he was in a real nice rhythm. He did a real nice job of reading their defense and knew exactly which receiver to go to, and naturally, our play action really held their linebackers, and Alonzo was able to get behind them and was wide open. Good pass, good throw, and then we went on the ground with David. David, one of the very few games that he didn't go over 100 yards, but again, you see him really trying to make radical cuts here and losing his feet. But I thought David and Andre both played well.
Well, considering they were key to try to stop the run, really a pretty effective day. Maybe a quiet day running the football, but 183 yards on the ground. And here I think we're going to see a big pass play from Tony Jones. And once again, the target, Alonzo Mays.
Well, again, we caught him in a man scheme, and we ran a crossing route where the 2 defenders ran into each other, and Tony really lays that ball out. Real nice, soft touch. Put some air underneath the ball where Alonzo just ran under it. A really nice throw and catch, and now you got 260 pounds lumbering towards the end zone.
52-yard touchdown pass to Alonzo Mays, a 5-play, 79-yard drive to tie the score at 7. And now later on in the first quarter, we're going to see the Tim Sidness PAT, but we're going to also get an opportunity here in a moment to see a little change in the special teams. Of course, R.W. McWhorter's out with an injury for the rest of the year, but Andre Richardson has stepped up and done an outstanding job on kickoff returns and his punt returns since he's filled R.W.'s shoes.
Oh, he's done an excellent job. Andre this year was always our backup on kickoff return and punt return, and I thought Coach Kaiser had a nice scheme in where we'd kick people out and really trap them on the sideline and allowed Andre to really go up the side. He's probably one block from taking this thing all the way. And anytime you get Andre in the open like that, he's very dangerous.
Well, a 45-yard kickoff return here by Andre Richardson in the second quarter sets the Cowboys up in good field position. And once again, we see Tony Jones back to pass, this time looking for the other tight end, Pfeiffer.
Well, and again, this is our misdirection play. We call it Nebraska, and Pfeiffer really had a great week of practice. Let me just say that. And and it was a good pass and catch throw to him. And you see us going back to David, and they really that strong safety of theirs, DeAndre Cross, really had a nice game. But you can see that 2 and 3 guys are always around our backs.
Well, they sucked up to try to stop the run, and here we see Tony Jones. Coach, this is the first time I think we've seen this play, just a pure quarterback sweep.
Well, it was something that I thought the coaches did a good job coming up with based on their defensive scheme that, again, playing man coverage, it allowed us to run people off. And, again, we used Tony's 4.3 speed to get around the corner here to get us the first down.
Well, had a nice drive here late in the half. Of course, Tony Jones, 55 yards on the ground, a career best in all-purpose yards for him with 290 yards. And we go into halftime down 14-7, and of course they come out and take possession of the football in the second half, and really needed the defense to step up. And in this position, they did a fine job. Cato and Lewis Adams on the stop.
Yeah, they did, and we talked about it at halftime that we really had to come out as a defensive unit and have some success. And the first series for us was important. We asked the defense to really go out and try to establish some things. And you see this first series after the half, we go out and stop them. The guys were rallying to the ball and got them in a situation where they punted to us and then allowed us to go down and then tie the ball game up.
Well, good tackle here defensively. I believe that's Courtney Garner, the 6 foot, 185-pound senior, stepping up in the hole to make the stop. And then brings up a big third down play. And, of course, Corby Jones rolling out to his left under pressure by Adams.
Good tackle.
Great tackle.
Great tackle by Cato. Cato, he's a young man, as you know, that's been playing very well for us. Cato had 20 tackles this ballgame and very active. We lose contain here, and if Cato's not there, this is a first down, and that's a sound tackle by Cato and our young freshman right.
Well, Cato stepped in here as a freshman from Midwest City, leads the team in tackles with 81, and he really has done a fine job for a youngster. And once again on offense, and once again,
Good
Tony
throw.
Jones to Alonzo Mays.
And this is what Tony has been practicing, throwing this ball and putting Eric underneath it and throwing the 7-round, real soft touch. And he's got a nice target. Alonzo actually runs a real nice route and real nice throw and completion. It keeps that drive alive, and then Andre comes in and he does his spinning act and gains about 15 yards down there. Gives us another first down. This is a great spin move by Andre, and right now our offense feels good about their ability to move the ball on this defense.
And now after the first down play by Andre, Tony back to pass and a 33-yard touchdown strike to Willie Grissom.
Yeah, I tell you, Willie had an exceptional game, both catching and blocking, and Tony had a good day, but he only had a good day because our receivers stepped their game up and really made some nice catches, and that was a good throw and catch, and Willie Grissom really executed the run afterwards.
Well, a 4-play, 59-yard drive culminating in that 33-yard touchdown pass to Grissom ties it at 14. Now later on in the third period, OSU on the march again.
Yeah, and as you can see, we put the option in again. They were playing a lot of man. We just ran them off and ran down the line, pitched it down to David. David goes around the corner untouched for about 20 yards. And basically we were having success really moving the football.
Well, here we see, Tony Jones, a 3-step drop to the other John Marshall product, Love, and a good reception there for 10 yards.
I tell you, Love has stepped up his game catching the ball. I thought that, again, we go back to a draw play here where Andre is really doing a nice job. This is one of the very few times that you don't see him slip, but at the end, I think you see the grass catch his feet.
Well, seemed to have trouble with that turf, and here we see back to the option play, and Andre Richardson again around the corner for 8 yards.
Nice run, a nice decision, and Tony has been doing a good job all week in this particular ballgame, making good decisions. We're in a key situation here where we go back to Alonzo with an inside naked play, and Alonzo does his Superman act to get in the end zone.
19-yard touchdown pass to Alonzo Mays, and I tell you, Coach, something that big that's flying needs a stewardess on board. I don't know about that.
It does. Here's a big truck.
Well, I wouldn't want to be down there trying to tackle that if that was coming after me, but a 12-play, 73-yard drive by the Cowboys to answer the Mizzou score, and it's all knotted up at 21. And after the Tim Sidness PAT, it's all knotted up at 21. And then Missouri does score again, and we're down 28-21, and the offense takes the field. And once again, Jones to Mays.
I tell you, this is a great throw, a good hit by their defensive ball player, but it shows you the concentration Alonzo Mays, and he's totally focused. You sees him at the last minute, the helmet comes off, but it just shows you what kind of receiver he is for a big guy. This is a key throw. 3rd and 9, we must have it. Willie Grissom runs a great route here. We get inside position, catches the ball, keeps the drive alive. We go back down to the running game. David was just one cut from taking this play all the way.
Well, Thompson up the middle for 4th and 5, or for a 5-year gain, sets up 4th and 2.
This kid gives us a chance to tie the ball game up, and this is Andre. We're running our counter play here, and he makes a sensational effort to really stay on his feet to really get that first down.
Well, it's a nice adjustment too. Rather than pulling the backside guard and tackle, you have the guard and fullback run the counter. Of course, here is a young stud, Nathan Simmons, showing his left-handed arm right there.
Well, I tell you, it was actually a good decision by him, because we thought that we'd get more flow from that free safety. We didn't, and he did a nice job of really throwing it to Tony, and Tony makes a good decision here, scrambling for what was almost a first down. Again, keeping the drive alive, and we're down by a touchdown here, and everybody is really coming up very positive. 3rd and 1, we get the first down now, and that's one thing about the offense. The offense is clicking here. Nice throw and catch to Andre. We get in the end zone and end up tying the ball game up.
Well, a 15-yard TD pass right there to Andre Richardson. 14-play, 74-yard touchdown drive for the Cowboys, and had 4 scoring drives of over 70 yards, then one of nearly 60 yards. And the PAT here will tie this game at 28, and of course it goes into overtime. But the offense really did a fine job of responding to each and every situation throughout the football game, but we never could seem to get over the hump, I guess, and get the lead on.
No, we had our opportunities in that ball game to really try to take it over. We wasn't that successful on defense, but we put ourselves in position. We got down on the goal line one other time with 4th and inches and failed to get in. And so, it was a game that I think we felt that we could have won, but towards the end of the ball game, we just didn't complete and do the right things to end up winning that ball game.
Thanks, Coach. Well, we'll be back with Tom Dorado's 2-minute drill after this timeout.
TD's 2-minute drill, sponsored by Farm Credit, for Ag, for Life.
Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Each and every week, Tom Dorado takes us behind the scenes to meet some of the Cowboy players and support personnel on the football team. This week, we're going to meet a man that keeps taping them up and putting them back together. Jeff Fair was around when I was here, and shoot, I think he was here since before electricity. This week, the head medicine man for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, the trainer, Jeff Fair.
The amount of training that goes now into educating an athletic trainer is phenomenal. The amount of hours and experience they've got to have. Used to be that the kids basically just ran around, taped a few ankles, and made sure the kids got water. Now they've got their classes they've got to learn. Most of them know more anatomy than a lot of doctors I know. Well, it's not only just sports medicine, it's medicine in general and the things we can do now. It used to be if a young man had a torn cartilage in his knee, and basically that was the end of the season. They were in a cast for long months. Then the rehabilitation took a long period of time. Now we're seeing kids come back and play in a matter of weeks after a pretty serious injury. It's a better educated, more knowledgeable young athlete we're getting in nowadays. They ask why, they question their treatment procedures, and they're really interested in their own care. I think it's basically they're better well-read. They've read the news weeks, they've read the newspapers. They're using words like anterior cruciate in the newspaper nowadays, and the athletes know what these things are and know what's going on. So they're really just better informed. The athletes we have here at Oklahoma State were the best athletes in our high school. And very often if they had a nick or a bruise, the high school coach would say, well, just lay out a couple of days and we'll get you back and play you Friday night. Well, I can understand that from the high school point of view because they only have so many athletes on the team. When they get here, they're with everybody that they're fairly equal. And it takes them a while to readjust to that. They realize that we are going to practice hard all week, and if they don't practice, they're not going to play. They realize that they can't go out there and play 11 ball games a year and practice as many times as we do without having some nicks and bruises, and they've got to push through some of those injuries. Now, it's real important that we differentiate between the difference of bumps and bruises and true injuries. And the kids that are legitimately hurt, obviously rest is a big part of the treatment. The one thing I like about him, especially Coach Simmons, he has a lot of faith in what we do, leaves the sports medicine up to us. And the thing I really like about this coaching staff is how well they relate to the young men. They really communicate with the players, and there's a lot of give and take and conversation between the players and the coaches. Really, I think a lot of times I know the athletes a lot better than the coaches do. I spend a lot of time with them. A lot of times they're in a high-stress situation when they're with me. I get to know how tough they are, how far they've got to go as far as their mental and physical toughness. And the coaches listen to my ideas on that, and it's kind of funny because sometimes it takes them a year to figure out what I found out the first couple weeks or two-a-days. Our strength program and our conditioning program that Roberto Parker runs, that takes an awfully big load off me. It's obvious that the stronger our kids are and the better condition they are, the lot less time and they're going to spend the training here. Roberto has redone our meals over at Bennett Hall. He's also done our pregame meals, and I think they're a lot healthier, and he's done a lot of work with the carbohydrates and getting more energy available for the kids to play with. No, they didn't have leather helmets back when I started out. Believe it or not, it wasn't too many years after that, though. It really wasn't.
You know, Paul, I was really got introduced to Jeff Fair, Doc Fair, as we call him, when I was in Colorado, because we used to wear this collar around called a cowboy collar. And when I took this job, I used to see all these collars, and I used to brag how we wore this cowboy collar at Colorado. Well, he's the guy that invented it, and he's very good with our kids, and we're very fortunate to have him.
Well, Doc Fair, I'll tell you, Coach, the best tape job I ever got at any level. I think he could tape a broken leg and get you back out on the field without missing practice. Well, here we are in the final stretch of the 1996 football season, and let's take a look at this week's Big 12 matchups. Of course, Oklahoma State playing host to the Aggies from Texas A&M, and Coach, what has traditionally been a big battle, the Cornhuskers at Oklahoma.
Now, I tell you, that first game, A&M, let me just tell you, when you look at their film, they got good players on both sides of the ball. That Nebraska game, Nebraska is really starting to play well now, so it's going to be an interesting game in Norman.
Well, their defense is phenomenal, maybe one of the best ever. Kansas at Iowa State, and then your old stomping ground, Colorado right up to Faurot Field in Missouri.
Well, that'd be interesting because Missouri play a lot of man coverage, but they're going to have their hands full with those wide receivers of Colorado.
And Baylor, big win last week, and they're squaring off against interstate rival, the Texas Longhorns, at 2:30.
Well, you know, there are no easy games in this league anymore. Let me just say that.
Well, speaking of not an easy game, we'll be back to take a look at the Texas A&M Aggies after this timeout. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, Coach, this week playing host to the Texas A&M Aggies, always a national power, highly ranked last year, but struggling a little bit this year. What do we see in the forecast?
Well, I tell you, this A&M team is really a better team than its record. When you look at their offense, they got a lot of speed, they got a lot of talent. Brandon Stewart transferred in there. They got three backs, Sir Parker, Dante Hall. All of them are excellent backs. They got a defense that really, in my opinion, will probably be one of the best defenses that we've played this year.
Well, Stewart last week had 184 yards rushing against Texas Tech, so averaged over 10 yards a carry. What do you think, personally, what are some of the strengths of their football team, and perhaps what are some of the weaknesses?
Well, I think one of the biggest strengths of their football team is their defense. Their defensive line has got about two or three All-Americans. Eric Mitchell and Brandon Mitchell, both 96 and 23, got a lot of speed up front. I think that's the strength of their defense front. Secondary is a little bit young, but this is a football team that's more than capable.
Has it just been turnovers that's been the problem with their record this year?
Well, I think their offense have stuttered sometime and had a couple turnovers and fumbles. But that's been, they started off with the loss of BYU and really have not recovered from that because they've had some other games where they've had a lot of turnovers.
Well, Coach, how about our health situation? I know Levine was out last week. Brandon Ashley's been out. I heard Halupka has a bad hand, may or may not suit up. How are we looking health-wise on our football team?
Well, all the kids you mentioned will be back with the exception of Chris Halupka. He had surgery on his left hand. I think he's going to be out for 2 weeks, but Levine is back, Brandon Ashley's back, and for the most part, I think we are as healthy as we've been in a long time.
Coach, thanks so much. And folks, we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week on the next Bob Simmons Show.